What's up, folks? So today I've decided I want to talk about what it's like to be crazy. By the way, don't mean to offend anybody. When I say crazy, of course, I'm referring to my mental health issues. Um, and I am crazy. I own it. I'm living my truth over here. But if you're mentally ill and you don't want to call yourself crazy, that's totally fine. I don't necessarily think anyone else is crazy. That's just the easiest way for me to describe it. But yeah, I guess today I've just been thinking about it a lot, which I think about my mental health like constantly all the time because it's just like always there. But more specifically, just because, like, I don't know, just a few times recently, I've had people say some, I mean, not like intentionally cruel things about mental illness, just like uneducated things. I think it's really hard for people who don't have like any kind of mental health problems, which, by the way, if you don't, you're so lucky. Like, please trade places with me for one day, just one day. No, actually, I really wouldn't subject anybody to the shit that goes on in my brain. But, you know, people have said, like, oh, are you feeling anxious? Just do some deep breathing. We'll knock it right out. Or, oh, you have depression? You should definitely exercise more. That right there. That's all you need. Exercise and deep breathing, apparently. Um, which isn't to say that those things can't be helpful because they are. Um, but no, there's definitely a lot more to treating your mental illness than that. And I do say treat and not cure because I fully believe that mental illnesses are not curable. Um, Maybe someday in the future that'll change. I hope it does. But I think most people who are mentally ill were just kind of born with it. I was like 11 when I thought about killing myself for the first time, which, like, it's a very specific memory that I have. I was sitting in this like green recliner in my living room, and all of a sudden this thought just popped in my head that was like, it would be kind of cool to just not be alive anymore. And so, I was 11. I didn't really know what depression was. Um, I was kind of freaked out that thought had popped into my head. So I just kind of like pushed it back. Um, by the time I was 12, I was engaging in like self harm, cutting, that kind of thing. And then when I was 13, I overdosed on Tylenol. By the way, I don't recommend that. Had to get my stomach pumped. Do you know what happens when you get your stomach pumped? They literally put this tube up your nose, and then it goes down your throat all the way into your stomach. And then they pump everything out, and then they put liquid charcoal in your stomach to make you throw up everywhere. Now, when you throw up, it is black, which is like kind of cool. I mean, it's not. It's like really gross. Like it, ugh. But yeah, black is my favorite color. So, anyway, getting off topic. So, yeah, my depression started really early. So, when I was 13, that's when I got diagnosed with, that doctor called it clinical depression. In more recent years, I've been labeled as having major depressive disorder, whatever. It's essentially the same thing. But I think a lot of people, when they think depression, they just picture somebody like laying in bed crying. And I'm sure that there are some people who have depression and that's how, it presents itself. But that's not me. I don't feel sadness. I feel completely hopeless. It's like if your feelings were a tangible thing and they were supposed to be somewhere in your body, wherever that place would be, mine is just empty. Um, and that's a shitty way to live, honestly. My feelings are just gone for the most part. It's hard for me to connect to people, which, I mean, I have friends. There are people that I'm close to and that I care about, but it's very few. And I spend the majority of my time by myself, if, unless my son is with me. He's with his dad half the time and me half the time. But yeah, I spend a lot of time by myself, and I prefer it that way because it is I work in customer service, so all day, every day, I'm putting on a smile and pretending like I'm a normal person, which I'm not. So by the time I get home at the end of the day, I'm just tapped. I'm tapped out. Um, on the plus side, depression has helped me, become a much better actress. um, because I guess it's pretty convincing to some people. Like, there's probably a lot of people in the world that think that I'm super happy, but I'm not. Um, yeah, every now and then I have like a happy moment. Like just something nice happens, but then, in the back of my head, I'm like, well, enjoy this like 2 minute intermission from your massive depression because it's definitely going to come back. And it does. I mean, it always does. And it's hard to kind of accept the fact at a young age that the rest of your life you're going to be struggling just to live. Um, because make no mistake, mental illness can be extremely deadly. And depression is very, very sneaky. It's very pervasive. And, I can be sitting at my desk at work and, just working on some reports. Nothing bad's happened. And suddenly I'll just think about what it would look like if I just cut my arms from wrist to elbow. That's not a normal thought to have, I don't think. But that kind of stuff runs through my head a lot. Or, I'll be driving over a bridge and, there's like a river down there. And I'm like, be pretty easy to just swerve my car right over this bridge into the water. Which is also probably not a normal thing to think about as often as I do. And, I don't intend to ever take my own life. I love my kid enough that I don't want to do that to him, but depression also tells me things like he'd really be better off without you. And depression can be pretty convincing sometimes. And a lot of times I talk about my depression like almost like it's a person because it feels like its own entity that is just taken up residence inside of me. And, even with all the therapy I've had and all the medications that I've tried, the medications that I'm on, there's no way to like exorcise this darkness. That's a really cheesy way to put it. Just pretend that I didn't say that. But for real, I mean, there is no getting rid of it. You know, sometimes you get on a good cocktail of medicine that helps for a few months. Eventually, it doesn't help as much, and then it's like kind of back to the drawing board. Like, try new medications. It blows. And I mean, depression has its perks, I guess. Not so much perks, but I definitely feel that I can empathize with other people more, which is never a bad thing. Um, and it does make the moments that I have that are happy, like, just astronomically, like, magically joyous. Um, just last week, I was driving, and I had, I recently added another medication to my little regime of meds. And so I was driving my car listening to music, and it suddenly hit me that it had been a whole day and I hadn't thought about killing myself. And I hadn't had any anxiety. And just that, just a few hours of experiencing what I imagine normal people feel like on a daily basis was so beautiful that I literally fucking cried because I can't remember the last time I've had a day where I haven't had at least one horrible thought, you know? And I don't really know why I made this YouTube channel. I don't really anticipate many people ever seeing these videos. I mean, maybe my friends will. I don't fucking know. Um, and it's hard to think of a way to end them. And especially this one because there's no end to this story. Like, I have major depressive disorder and I have generalized anxiety disorder, and those things will be with me until the day I die. And trust me, death will be the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. There's so the last time I tried to kill myself, um the the people who were taking me to the hospital, there were some cops, and I'm just like shooting the shit with the cops. For some reason, when I'm my funniest, I think, at my most depressed. Whatever, we all have coping mechanisms. But I was talking to the cops about how I could never be a cop, just for like 1,000 different reasons. But one of them just being like, I'm not super comfortable with guns. And the cops were like, well, you're a girl and you should probably carry a gun for protection. Like, what if somebody comes up and threatens to shoot you? And I was like, guys, I just tried to fucking kill myself. Like, if somebody came up and said that if I didn't give him my shit, he would shoot me, I would honestly be like, actually, you can have all my stuff, but will you still shoot me? Yeah, because, like, I'd really be fine with that. I've made a commitment. I'm not going to take my own life. I can't do it. I just can't. Um, and it's weird because sometimes I think of suicide as something really cowardly. And there are other times that I think killing yourself is maybe the bravest thing you can do. I don't know how I feel about it today. But I can't. I can't. As much as I think sometimes that the world and the people in my life would be better off without me, I just can't do it, man. I gotta be here for my kid, you know? Um, so how to wrap this up? I don't know. It'd be helpful probably if I thought about what I was gonna say before I said it, but um, not so good with that. I don't always have a very good filter, and I'm not really known for having much. I don't know. Kind of lost my train of thought. I'm really tired. That's another thing about being depressed. It's exhausting. I don't really understand why, but it is. It just takes everything out of you. Like, I don't, it's 7 o'clock. I've got a few hours of free time theoretically I could go hang out with somebody. And in reality, I should probably go to the grocery store. I should probably make something for dinner. But I don't want to see anybody. And I don't want to eat. I'm going to sit here until I feel like it's late enough to just go to bed for the night. I don't know. I guess I should say something positive or uplifting. Definitely, if you stumble across this video and you're struggling with your mental health, for sure you're not alone. Like, I feel you, my dude. You should definitely seek help. Hospitals can be super fun. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you just get, I don't know, like a 2 or 3 day break. I mean, I don't know. Some hospitals try to keep you longer, but I usually get tired of being hospitalized after like the third day, and I'm like, all right, I feel better. But legit though, free food, they medicate you. You get to hang out with a bunch of other people who are also just like slick, kind of crazy. And you don't really have any contact to the people outside of the hospital, so you don't have to deal with whatever's going on in your life. I mean, you have to deal with it in the sense that they make you talk about it, but you don't have to be just like out in the real world. And sometimes that really can be helpful. But yeah, so mental illness is a bitch. I'm gonna have it forever. But, you know, what can you do? I'm gonna keep fighting the good fight. I sound so lame when I talk sometimes. I don't know. And I know I pause a lot in these videos. It's just because these aren't scripted or anything. I don't know what I mean, but that's just my life in general. I just don't ever know what I'm going to say until the words are coming out of my mouth. That gets me in trouble sometimes. But, you know, if you don't have a mental illness and someone in your life does, just be considerate. And, you know, you don't even have to offer advice. Sometimes we just want to be heard. Just listen. And, you know, just know that if there is someone in your life who struggles in a similar way I do, don't take it personally if they like vamp out on you for a few days or a few weeks, because it's probably nothing personal. Sometimes it literally just feels impossible to pick up the phone, send a text message, take a shower. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna end this video because I probably really should eat. I think I ate some yogurt earlier, but I need to eat something a little more substantial. But yeah, so mental illness.